Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Gangster is a board game based on the Mafia, and this is a game that was released when there weren't a lot of gangster games out on the market, and I found it to be a pretty good game for its time. It's an area control game straight up. You're moving around the board, and you'll be placing and moving gangsters. What's kind of fun about it is that if you put a gangster in the river, they're gone forever, and you get an upgrade for your troubles. Now, sometimes you don't want to do that because you already have upgrades that you like, and you don't want to take an upgrade that you don't like. So you may not want to, and it creates these little alliances that you have. But for the most part, you're going to be picking up and moving gangsters around the board. Now, this is a game I liked quite a few years ago. The board is a little busy, although I think it fits and looks really, really cool on the table. It's just one of those games that over time, I think I found other games that I liked better. The whole area control, area influence is not something that I'm crazy about, although I do like it in some games. This is straight up that. It's like an entry-level area control game where you're going to be moving gangsters around the board in order to populate those and have the biggest gang in those areas, and you will score points for that. I think this game has been replaced by Godfather that was released by CMON. I just like the production, the theme, everything about that better. Now that they're not exact comparisons, but I think that they're close enough that if I was going to pull out a gangster-themed area control game, I would go with CMON's Godfather over Gangster. It's starting to look a little dated with the components, which are fine. If you don't care about that kind of thing, this is a great one. If you're looking for a good entry-level area majority game and you like the gangster theme at all, this is a fantastic place to land, and it's a really fun and easy game to teach. You can literally teach this to nearly anybody. You're going to be using the cards to move around the board and be able to drive around, and then just placing these cubes that represent gangsters out on the board. And people understand that the more cubes I have, the more valuable it is, and the more points I'm going to score. So it's not very difficult. And it's always fun to make one of those gangsters swim with the fishes. So it can be a very fun game. Like I said, it's getting dated looking, the components aren't that great, and it's very simple. You're just getting that, nothing else. But a lot of times this is now part of a larger game. For us, like I said, we chose to keep Godfather instead of this. We'll be happy with that. So for us, it's sadly going to be a Purge. But one, if you missed out on, I would tell you to go back and check this one out. Here's Gangster, which is an older game. You can see the box is very striking for 2 to 5 guys. It's a little misleading. It plays better with more. And the 2, it has some extra rules that go into it. Here is the rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. You're going to get a nice board here of Chicago in the 1930s. Oh, you want to see the busiest back of a board ever? Oh, man. This will make you go cross-eyed. Look at that. So you're going to have basically the city of Chicago, and you're going to have different areas or districts around the board, and you're going to have the river that you can throw people in. So that's a pretty nice little aspect. The board is mainly just a grid and a scoring around it. You're going to have an insert. It's not all that helpful. You're going to get different people that you can be. They have no powers. They're just different colors, etc., with different names. Cubes are going to be your workers. You're going to have a few cards you're going to start out with. These will be the scoring ones. These are really nice cardboard. You're going to have some player aids, but they're nice cardboard stock. These are not cards, which is nice. The cards in the game are going to have some weird artwork on them. Your mileage may vary if you like those or not. The little chits and everything is fine. This is definitely a game from a different era, as you can tell. But I think everything holds up well enough for what you're trying to do in this game. So here is the rule book you're going to have. A different picture in the front of the box, which is nice. And this right here is all just going to be story or theme that they're trying to bring you into the game. You're going to have the components with all of pictures over here, which is really nice. And then set up with a little bit of a picture here of how to start the game, etc. And then the gameplay will start down in this corner. And really, you only have the next 2 pages. You can see there's a lot of blank spots here. There's examples and pictures that come in here. And the game isn't that hard to play or understand. Now, like I said earlier, there are the upgrade markers explained, but there are different rules for 2 players. I do not recommend this game for 2 players. 5 is good. 4 is probably better. Maybe 4 or 5. 2 and 3, it's not a very good rule set. You want more people doing more stuff around the board, but the rule book is pretty good. You probably need 15 minutes to read through this, and you'll be up and playing. I didn't really have any questions after reading through it. Very, very good rule book. The game is played over 3 rounds. Whoever has the most victory points is the winner. Each person will choose a color. There's different pictures, but all the players start the same. You're going to start out with your 3 cards, your movement cards, 1, 2, 3. You're going to have a scoring token, a bunch of cubes that represent your gangsters, and a nice little car that you'll be shooting around the board. Now, the car is a nice little meeple that will be played around, and it'll move around the board fairly well as you're going through, and then you'll have your 3 starting cards. You also take the upgrade tokens, you will shuffle these up, and then you'll grab 3 of them that will be face up that the players can choose from. You will shuffle up these tiles, and then you will put them randomly around the board, and this will kind of shake it up. Each time that you play the game, you'll have a different variant here that will allow things to score and be put out a little bit differently each time that you play. Each player will draw 2 scoring cards. What this is going to do is the first one's going to tell you where you're going to put your car and one of your scoring. And the other one, you're just going to put one of your gangsters out. And my second one was Cesario. I will place that there. And then these will be discarded. Each of the players will do that to set up the game. After that, after everybody's done, push their cubes out, you'll draw 1 more, in this case the loop. And this will be a doubler that will be put out there. The game is played over 3 rounds, which you'll score after each round, and then you'll divvy up to see who has the most victory points. On your turn, you can either drive or unload or load. So you have these 3 movement cards. You can choose to play any one of them. Then you will move your car that many districts around. You can never go back where you started, and you got to continue to move around. And once you use one, you can't use it again until you use the other ones on subsequent turns. And then once you've used all 3 of them, you can pick them back up into your hand. So once you use the 3, that won't be available to you until you also use the 2 and the 1. Then after the 3 movement cards, you will turn over a scoring card, in this case Greektown. You will add a doubler to this location. If you happen to get the policeman that comes out, then nothing will happen at this time. Once all 8 doublers are out, then it would go to Day of Reckoning, which will be the end of the round and the scoring. The second possible option you have is to load or unload. So you could take and unload your gangsters, and you're putting them out in these locations for control. Now, they always have to be placed in this order all the way through. If there's ever any missing ones, let's say it's like this, because people were taken off for whatever game reasons, you would still fill up this area and leaving the blank ones there until this one is full. Then you start filling in the blank ones. Keep in mind that if your opponent has somebody there, you can always take them and throw them into the trunk of your car, and you will have them there in the trunk of your car. And what you're trying to do is get them over to the coast, where once you get to the coast, what you can do is you can get rid of anybody here. They get thrown in the ocean, so they're the river. They're kind of out of the game. And you can take one of these upgrades. So each of your cars have a spot to have 2 upgrades, and you'll take one of these if you're at the Gulf Coast, and you'll be able to upgrade your car at any time. And these upgrades will do different things. Some of them will let you have Tommy guns and bodyguards, so you can't be affected by other players. The engine allows you to move a little bit more. You can get a door. You can place up 2 of your own gangsters from your auto onto a district. So the upgrades will allow you to bend the rules a little bit in the game, and getting those early on will be helpful to you as you go. Once you get to the scoring, you'll look at your thing here. Whoever has the most will get to 3. Second most will get 4 and 1. Each of these will score a little different. This one's 6, 4, 3, and 1 as you're going through these. If you have a doubler, then obviously you would just get twice as many points as normal. To get ready for the next round, you get rid of all the doublers. Everybody kind of stays on the board. You'll be receiving 6 for the second round, additional 5 for the third round, and you get more of these gangsters that you can place out around the board. Once again, after the third round, whoever has the most victory points, you'll score each of these areas. Whoever has the most victory points is the winner of the game. Who should buy this game? Fans of the gangster theme or the mafia theme. I think this is a really solid title. If you're looking for an area majority, area influence game, I think this could definitely be it for you. If you like that area control aspect of games, this is it. It's a little bit lighter. It's very straightforward. It's almost on the gateway aspect to me. If you want to say something, have you played an area control game? This could be one to check out. I kind of like The Godfather by CMON a little bit better. There's Viral, which is a really good area control game for gateway-esque. But this one is streamlined. It's just moving around and putting cubes on the board. And sometimes you can throw them in the river. So people can really, really understand this one pretty easily. I think it's very, very teachable. And this is one of those hidden gems I think a lot of people haven't heard about. And that is Gangster.